I feel like Drew was amazing tonight, playing hard defense on Dame. But also, I feel like we had a game plan coming to the game, and, we pretty much execute the plan the right way, and that pretty much helped us get the win.
You guys struggled at the end of all the first three quarters, but then did really well at the end of the fourth. What do you think you guys adjusted to well as the game went on, and how do you feel like you closed this game?
Pretty much just taking care of the ball. We had a lot of plays where they had second shots, and I feel like coming to the fourth quarter, we knew exactly what we had to do in order to pretty much get the win.
What's up with your left shoulder?
None. Ice. I put ice on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and Shaden Sharp don't get along?
Man, no, we're not. He's a Canadian. I'm Canadian. From the same country. We haven't had any relationship like friends and stuff, so we won't have any problem. We do not have any issues.
It seemed like you guys as a team kind of made a point of trying to get Isaiah involved today. Was that kind of was that an emphasis, I guess, especially after you've been with Fort Wayne the last couple of days, to get him rolling, and how nice was it to see him, make a couple plays?
It was great. He came to the game. He had a lot of energy coming to the game. And he was ready. He went to the G League just to get his mojo going. And I felt like he was pretty ready coming to the game today, and he had a big impact on us winning.
It just seemed like the first couple minutes for everybody were just kind of choppy. Just how important was it for the second unit in particular today to get some offensive rhythm, getting some buckets, and how effective do you think you guys were at that today?
Pretty much, I feel like every night, the problem is not going to be, for us, is not going to be offense. We have great guards, who gets us going, like TJ, Andrew, when they both on the court. So I feel like just pretty much being effective on a defensive end is going to translate to being really good on the offensive end.
And to that end, what is it like in an NBA where the scoring's up and all this stuff, but you guys have two guys in the lineup, really, they can get some stuff, but Nesmith and Nembhard are in there for their defense. I don't know, what message does that send or tone does that set to start the game off with those two guys in the court?
Well, I feel like, as they come in the game, we already know they're good defensively. So pretty much, I feel like they're the two of the three best defenders on the team, including Miles, and so having them start the game is obviously a great thing.
You are the leading scorer tonight with only 19. A couple of games ago, your leading scorer only had 21. You guys have had a lot more balance recently in terms of your scoring attack. What kind of emphasis does it take to do that, or how do you feel like you guys have kind of changed to get everybody involved a little more recently?
I feel like pretty much we have a lot of, we have a lot of good players on the team, so it can be anybody's night, anytime. So pretty much I feel like today I was able to help my team, by scoring a little bit more, and like I said, it could be anybody's night.
Ben, what was the message as the three-point ball wasn't going down for really anyone? What was the thought process for you guys, what you needed to do to score in other ways?
Pretty much just getting to the paint. I feel like Buddy, who is one of the greatest shooters in the game right now. His shot wasn't falling tonight. A couple guys on the team, the shot wasn't falling. So pretty much just put pressure on the rim, and trying to get us going.
On a totally different other note, what's James Johnson meant to this team and maybe to you specifically for these first few months?
Oh, James Johnson has been huge, man. He's been great. He's pretty much the heart of the team. He's been in the game for a hot minute, and pretty much he's just a great teammate on and off the court. He's the reason why we stick together. Sometimes when we win, when we lose, he's always going to be 100%. Show up to work 100%. So pretty much it's great having him around the team, and just great having him as a vet.
Well, the Aaron Nesmith jump ball where he tore the ball out of Nurkic's hands changed everything, in the last 5 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever it was. His energy in the fourth was crazy. Got our team into it. He put the ball in the basket. He got steals, made a lot of great things happen. And this was not a pretty game by any stretch. It was a lot of, unusual defensive things going on because of great players like Lillard and and Grant and Simons. You got to do some unconventional things to make things difficult on those guys. But Ron had great timing with traps. Our players were on point with rotations for the most part, and we found a way. And the shot that Ty hit basically to ice the game, everybody in the building knew that was going in.
You just talked about some of the schematic stuff, but holding a team like that to 99 points, what all impressed you about the way your team defended today?
Well, to hold them under 30 for 4 quarters is a real feat. It's very difficult to do. And then the 17-point fourth quarter was just all about, grit and the energy in the building and our guys just finding a way, And, Buddy didn't get, a lot of shots in this game. It was hard for him to get into the game offensively, but defensively, he hung in and he did things that were really important down the stretch of the game too. Switched on to, their high-level players, stood firm, got steals, got deflections. It was just, it's another game that, when you get in the playoffs, sometimes you just got to find a way to win the game that's not pretty. And this was that kind of a game, that kind of an effort.
Mathurin only had 19 and led the way for you guys. Buddy Hield, I think, led with 21 2 games ago. That's a couple lower scoring, highest scorers in your last couple of games where balance has been more of the way for you guys offensively. What stands out to you about that? And
Well,
how do you
it's
focus
January
in
in
that
the
way?
NBA, and this is a time when sometimes fatigue sets in on teams, and sometimes you get some wanky scores. And not every game is going to be a Picasso offensively, even for the best offensive teams. And defensively, sometimes you've got to do things outside the box to create some offense and to keep the other team off balance. And so, this was one of those games. And, I just thought the way that the guys hung in, and Chris Duarte is just battling out there. The guy sat out for a month and a half, and he is just fighting his way back into the fray. And hey, he got the ball in the basket a couple times. He's driving it. He's leaving everything he has out there. Isaiah Jackson, well, how about playing 3 games in 3 nights? Fort Wayne, Grand Rapids, and Indianapolis. 3 games in a row in 3 nights, which doesn't happen unless it's a lockout year. And usually when it's a lockout year, it might happen once, maybe twice. And so, and who knew before the game that Jalen Smith was going to be unable to go. And I thought Goga's minutes, even though they weren't many, were really important, in the second quarter. And look, Ben, Ben just, he just has an iron will out there to make things happen and to get to the free throw line and get the ball in the basket. And, he did some terrific things as well. So, everybody that played did something important in this game.
Hey, Rick, 2 questions for you. First one, you mentioned the Nesmith jump ball. As I recall, Nurkic won the jump ball. I assume they didn't score, but why do you pinpoint that play as being so important? What was that?
Well, Donovan Mitchell did that to us in Cleveland a couple of weeks ago. There was a similar play. I don't know who he was tied up with, but 2 guys held onto the ball, and he just held on, and then he eventually ripped it out of our guys' hands, and their building went crazy. And I think Aaron remembered that play, and he made sure that he came out of that fray with the ball. And, regardless of what happened with the jump ball, what happened in the ensuing plays, was in large part due to that effort play. And that's kind of statement about how important, us finding a way to win was. And that's all about what that gesture was.
And last one for me. So Jalen, when did you find out that you needed Isaiah? So how long before the game did he get here? Because you said, who knew? So when did you know?
Well, I knew this afternoon that Jalen had a finger issue on his shooting hand, Isaiah was slated to be here and be active for us either way. You know, Chris had an experience in the G League a couple of weeks ago. You know, those experiences can be liberating because you go to an environment where it's only about one thing, love of competing and love of the game, because those guys aren't making much money down there. And you see the locker rooms that they're in on the road and at home. And, you know, it's an enlightening, educational experience. And it makes you really appreciate, you know, what we have in the NBA. Charter planes, you know, crazy per diem, you name it. Go right down the list.
Wanted to go back into Aaron, and not just even before he makes that play. I think he had a steal. I think he broke up kind of a backdoor attempt that Lillard had. I mean, just what from the time he gets in on that final stretch, what all did you like about what he did on both ends? So he also had the big bucket, but he had defensive plays even before the tie-up.
Yeah, I mean, in the Philly game, he was a plus in that game and didn't get back into it down the stretch and in overtime because, you know, Ben really had it rolling and we rolled with our other veteran guys. You know, in this game, basically coming down to an even game with 6 or 7 minutes to go, we needed our two best perimeter defenders in the game. And that's, you know, that's Nembhard and that's Aaron. And, you know, Buddy's got to be out there, Ty's got to be out there, Miles got to be out there, you know. And so, you know, that got him back into the game. and I remember Lloyd leaning over to me, you know, and saying, you know, Aaron's a guy that can get us a couple extra possessions on loose balls and stuff like that. And by God, he did. And it was super important. And, you know, when you're a team like us playing in Portland, you know, 3-4 weeks ago, whatever, or them playing here, I mean, you're a long way from home. And when that crowd really gets into it, it makes it hard on the road team. And so, you know, every defining play that you can manufacture at home, and they rarely have to do with shot making. Sometimes they do, but you know, Aaron had 2 or 3 of them that were all about effort, guts, and grit, and that's what it was going to take.
Rick, we often talk about closing and being clutch offensively, but defensively, you held them without a field goal in 7+ minutes. What stood out to you about that final stretch?
We were flying around. We were having to double team Lillard. We came and trapped him in the backcourt a few times, but the one constant is Miles Turner around the basket. And if you watch the Philly game, what he did there, and you watch tonight, what he did down the stretch. I mean, there are very few guys that have that kind of presence around the rim, and that can change the game defensively and allow you to play a smaller lineup. You can't play, you know, consistently play a smaller lineup with a smaller center. I mean, you're going to have to score 130 points to win the game. That's just how it's going to be. So, you know, and Miles is always there. He is always there. And so he was tremendous defensively, and you know, offensively he didn't have gaudy shooting numbers or anything like that. You know, but 17 and 8 in this game, you know, are important, and it seemed like he had a hell of a lot more.
Just felt we were connected. All 5 on the floor were connected. We did a good job staying in our principles. I mean, obviously Dame, you know, one of the best closers in the league for a long time, so we knew he was getting the ball. You know, we just did a good job being in gaps, helping, making other guys beat us, and closing out and finishing possessions because, you know, they got a lot of guys who crash, Grant, Hart. Obviously, Nurkic is, you know, a big guy in the paint. So we just did a really good job of finishing possessions, and that allowed us to win tonight.
What have you thought of the team's offensive balance in recent games?
It's been good. It's been good. We've had a lot of different people contribute. You know, I feel like we're one of the more balanced teams on a nightly basis in terms of, you know, Miles, myself, Buddy, Aaron, Andrew, Ben. We got a lot of different guys who contribute, you know, offensively with scoring the ball. But I think guys like TJ and, you know, and Chris obviously just coming back, and O'Shea, you know, they can contribute as well. So we just got a lot of guys who step up on different nights. You never know whose night it's going to be. we're just playing free. And, like we've just keep harping on, we just really enjoy seeing each other succeed. So, it's leading to a lot of success.
Rick just talked about Aaron's jump ball in the fourth quarter and how that ignited you guys. How does one play ignite a team so much like that? Like, how does that actually work on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a field thing. Obviously it's, what gets the crowd into it. I think that's important, especially when you're playing at home. But I think every game there's a certain play that, can change the momentum. What play started a run, whatever that is, a turnover, a hard foul, whatever the case may be. And I thought that got us going right there, allowed us to close the game.
Just building on that, what impressed you about Aaron that whole stretch? Because before that, he's got a steal taken away, a backdoor that Dame was trying to get. He gets that play, rips it away, and then he gets, I think, the layup that gets you guys started scoring. I mean, just how important was everything he did?
Yeah, he was big first down stretch. We really needed that layup from him. So I was throwing up bricks, so needed him to score. See the ball go in for us. I think, again, that's just who he is. He's trying to think of the right word, but it seems like he's always in the right place at the right time. Whether it's a big shot, a big stop, a big rebound, he just contributes in so many ways. Even in ways sometimes that don't show up on the stat sheet. So he's been an amazing addition for this team, and I'm just excited to have him as a teammate.
Does it get you a little bit more confidence for that three? I mean, obviously you've hit a bunch. It's not like it's your first one, but I mean, does it feel like there's like kind of a wave at that point that helps you out, gets you a clean look?
For sure. I mean, it kind of feels like a weight off your shoulders a little bit. I think, I don't remember what we were up when I hit that three, but the pressure's down a little bit to make that shot. I had an air ball before that, so that was like my recalibration. Sometimes an ugly miss is needed to make the next one.
What did you guys sort of make a point to get Isaiah the ball tonight? I mean, just getting him back in there, was there an active point made of like, let's reactivate this guy?
No, not at all. I think it's just in the flow of the game. I don't think we're ever making an emphasis to get somebody the ball specifically. I think it's just within the flow. I mean, I feel like when guys have their best games, it's just in the flow of the offense. And, I thought Isaiah was in the right place at the right time. He was finishing around the rim, blocking shots, just doing what he does. So it's obviously really exciting. I mean, I just found out he played 3 games in the last 3 days, which is crazy, but he's 21. He'll be fine. And he just, like I said, he's just contributing in a lot of ways.
Obviously, there was a team effort on Dame, and you guys had some double teams and traps and everything, but Andrew still, again, draws that initial assignment. Just how do you think he did? How much do you see this kid grow with every assignment like that he gets?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I did not know Andrew could guard like this when he got here. He's guarding the best player every night, him and Aaron, and they're doing a great job. Them two being able to do that defensively allows us to open things up. My biggest thing is they just got to stop fouling sometimes. You got to keep them on the floor because they do a really good job of making it hard for people to score. So they keep doing that every night. And like I said, this is a group of guys who have bought into their role, who completely understand that. And they know offensively the ball is going to come to them. But defensively, obviously Miles is our anchor under the paint, under the hoop. But I mean, those two guys are our point of attack defenders, and they do a great job at it. And we got a lot of different guys who contribute in different ways. And I think those two are really helping us right now.
To that point on Andrew, why do you think maybe it hasn't been too much for him to essentially draw the toughest assignment for you guys each night as a newcomer to this league?
I think when we drafted him, right, it was like you knew he was going to, like, he's poised, right? Like, he's a guy who, was a starting point guard on a Gonzaga team that, played in the Final Four 1 or 2 times. He's prepared for this. We're the same age. He's obviously played a lot of college basketball. He's played a lot of basketball. So guys like that, when they get in the league, they're ready to go, right? They usually are. So it's just something you've seen in summer league. He was ready to go, and so far in the transition to the NBA for him has been seamless, and he's been able to contribute in a lot of different ways. He's moving from being a guy who, has played point guard his whole life to being off the ball, more with me on the floor. So and he's just doing a really good job of it and contributing in a lot of different ways.
Where has James been most impactful in this locker room?
Wow, in a lot of different ways, man. I can't. It's hard to say and hard to put into one sentence. He's been awesome. He's been really awesome from the minute he got here. Our first ever conversation, he's like, "Man, I got your back. Don't worry about anything." And playing against James Johnson, I knew don't mess with that guy. You know what I mean? So when he came here and said that to me, I was like, all right, I'm good then. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about nobody. I got him with me. He's been great for a lot of different guys. He's the ultimate hype man for everybody in that locker room, coaches included. He just wants to see everybody succeed. Obviously, he's played a lot of years in this league. He's been around a lot of great players. I think anybody who's been his teammate in the past would have a lot of positive things to say about him. But he's been awesome for me, because I think he challenges me, because he's seen it up close. He was with D Rose, in those first couple of years when he was going to be MVP. He was with KD, with Kyrie, James, all those guys. So he's been around great players, and he challenges me to be one of those. And it means a lot because, it's one thing for, a GM to say something, coaching member to say something. It's a whole nother one for, your teammate has a lot of trust in you. He's been like a big brother to me. Just really appreciate having him, and I'm looking forward to having him, for the rest of the year. And, just a great person to have in my life for sure.
It's been crazy, but I feel like it's something I've been used to playing all my life. Going back to AAU days, college, and high school. I mean, just that grind, getting out of practice, in high school, getting out of school practice and going straight to AAU practice. Even doing like AAU, just playing back-to-back games. I've been doing it all my life, so I mean, it's something that I'm used to. I mean, I feel like I did real well with.
How did playing with the Mad Ants the past couple of days, just getting game reps, help prepare you for tonight?
Yeah, it did. I feel like it helped me, especially with my win. I feel like Mad Ants games, I played 30 minutes the first game, I think 23 the second or something like that. So, I mean, I feel like it prepared me for tonight, playing backup five and stuff. So, I mean, whatever the situation is, I'm going to be ready for it. And I think I showed that tonight.
You find out Jalen's not going to be able to go, and your number's going to be called. What's your mentality coming into the game?
Just to be ready. That was what everybody told me. My body, and my mind was telling me just to stop. But I mean, I know deep down inside, like I want to push myself. I want to be great. So I mean, that's what I just wanted to push myself, and I feel like I did that tonight real well. And I showed that, just that grit, the toughness that I have in me, and I showed that real well. So.
You made a pretty immediate impact. Had 4 dunks, I think, in the second quarter.
Yeah.
A couple of lobs. Do you feel like your teammates were seeking you out a little bit, trying to get you involved?
I mean, they were just fine. I feel like they were just finding an open man. I mean, like this team, I love this team. Everybody moves the ball real well. I really don't know who nice is going to be. And they just see me tonight. So, I mean, I took advantage of the opportunities. Did my thing. Appreciate you.
Just along those lines, what did it mean just to get rolling early? I mean, just to put the ball through the bucket, basically get back in the rhythm. I mean, just how much does that help just to get you started?
I mean, it felt good. It's like a big confidence booster going into the rest of the game. You get a few dunks, and it just, for me, it just turns me up. It just makes me want to play harder on defense, want to do the right thing so I can stay in, because I know I'm going to get more open looks and stuff. So it was a great team win tonight. I mean, pat myself on the back, of course, but want to also pat everybody on the back, team back. They did their thing tonight, too.
You talked about the G League assignment, something with your conditioning.
Yeah.
3 games in 3 days. How do you feel now?
I'm a little tired, but I know working hard is going to get me in a position like tonight. So I'm just going to continue to work, get back to it tomorrow and the next day, and just keep going.
I think Rick asked himself the question, is he going back on Sunday? And he said, F no. How does that feel, basically, to know that you're going to get another crack at it on Sunday? Obviously, I think you would have been totally fine playing another game down there, but, what's it mean to hear that from him?
I mean, it feels good. Just seeing the work that I put in, and everybody seeing it too. Feels good. Can't wait to be here with the guys Sunday and get the dub.
I think we brought a lot of energy, tried to make it tough on them on the ball, and I think our group concepts and just team defense was what led to that.
I think you guys held without a field goal, and I think it was the last 7:32. I mean, just what do you guys think you just did so well just down the stretch to keep those guys without a field goal? That's obviously a pretty high operating offense.
Yeah, I just think we understand how big a win it could be and the timing of the game and how we need to just lock in together as a group to get the win. And that's what we did down the stretch. So that's big for a young group to do something like that.
How big is that moment when Aaron rips that tie-up away. I mean, obviously gets the crowd into it and stuff like that. Just get a hustle play
Yeah.
like that. How much do you think that kind of sparked you guys on the
Huge.
stretch?
I think those are the team-winning plays that define teams and define players. And I think that's a big play for us to just change that momentum, kind of win the game down the stretch.